Hello, fourth grade, and welcome to lesson 1-5. We're going to be talking about constructing arguments. Now, when you're constructing an argument, what you're basically doing is you are defending your answer. You're creating or building or constructing, those are all synonyms for each other, an argument or a defense, a way to defend your answer. So if you just say, my answer is 5 to a question, well, why? Why is your answer 5? How did you get to 5? What steps did you take? How can you prove that your answer is correct? And that's what this lesson is all about.
How can you construct arguments? The table shows the retail sales per person in 3 states. Bella says Arizona had more retail sales per person than Massachusetts. How can you construct a math argument that supports Bella's conjecture? A conjecture is a statement that is believed to be true but has not been proven. What are the retail sales per person for Arizona? $13,637. What are the retail sales per person for Massachusetts? $13,533. Use what you know about place value to compare numbers. Ask yourself, how can I construct an argument? I can give an explanation that is clear and complete. I can use numbers and symbols correctly in my explanation. I can use numbers, objects, drawings, or actions to justify my argument. I can use counterexamples in my argument. Here's my thinking. Bella's statement makes sense. Let's compare the two numbers. What place value do you start with when comparing two numbers?
Select your answer.
Start with the greatest place value. The digits are the same in the 10,000s place and in the thousands place. The digits are different in the hundreds place, so that place is compared. $600 is greater than $500. So $13,637 is greater than $13,533. Bella is correct. Arizona had more retail sales per person than Massachusetts.
Gail said Arizona has more retail sales than Massachusetts because 7 is greater than 3. So $13,637 is greater than $13,533. Construct an argument to explain whether or not Gail is correct.
All right, now when we look at these numbers, we can see that she's comparing the 7 and the 3, which is the value in the ones place. Now, when we start to compare, we always have to compare from our greatest place value. So we start from the 10,000s and then the thousands, which are the same, and then we move to smaller place values one at a time, going from left all the way to the right. Now she's incorrect in how she compared them. She did happen to get to the correct answer purely by coincidence, but you can't compare starting from the smallest place value. The only time you do that is if everything bigger than it is the same, which means you still started from the left side and moved your way over to the right side. Now we're going to get into our guided practice in just a second. I'm going to go over our notes first. Now, our notes for this lesson, that's up here. so that you guys can see everything. Okay, now as always, title at the top of the page, lesson number, and the title of that lesson. So 1-5, constructing an argument. So we're going to go through those same steps that we just talked about. How do you construct or build an argument to support your answer? So over here, when we're saying argument, we're talking about defending your answer. We're not talking about an argument that you might have with a friend. So when you are constructing an argument, you are building up your reasons to prove why you are correct. So there's different ways to do that. You can give a clear explanation of why you think your answer is correct. You can use your numbers and symbols, and make sure if you do use numbers and symbols that you're using them correctly. So if you're using greater than and less than signs, make sure they're facing the correct way. Another way you can do that is by adding numbers, drawings, objects, any of these kinds of things to justify, which means prove, to prove your argument or to prove that your answer is correct. And you can also use counterexamples, so additional examples to continue proving your argument. Now, one word that you heard in here is the word conjecture. Conjecture is a statement that is thought to be true. So you think your answer is right, but you haven't proven it yet. So we're going to take one of the examples from the book. And this is actually part of our guided practice where we're talking about Jorge. And he's saying that Massachusetts has more retail sales per person than Iowa. So this is actually going to double between here and our guided practice. So over here, I copied down the table with the information that we used, and we're going to go through and see our answer. So the conjecture that was made is that Massachusetts has more retail sales than Iowa. So we have the information, we have our numbers lined up, our place values, the digits are all lined up. So he's saying that Massachusetts has more than Iowa. So if we're going to look through our numbers here, remember, we always start with the biggest place value. So we're working on these two numbers. So the 1 is the same in both. The 3 is the same in both. Now we get to the first place value where we can actually make a comparison. That's the hundreds place. Now right away, I can see that this is 500 and this is 100. So when I'm constructing my argument, I'm going to go through and take a look at some of these steps that I talked about above. So you'll see that I numbered them down at the bottom. Now I can say Massachusetts has a greater number of sales because when comparing the place values, the 10,000 and 1,000 are the same, but the hundreds place for Massachusetts is greater. Now I'm using my numbers over here. So I lined them up. I crossed out the ones that were the same, just like I did up here. I circled the ones that were different. I used numbers and symbols here. 500 is greater than 100. So 13,533 is greater than 13,172. And this tells us that Jorge is correct. Now, when you're looking at this, you're seeing this full example, this full answer with examples, with numbers and symbols being added to help you understand why exactly that answer is correct. So the conjecture by itself, or the statement by itself, just saying that this one has more than that one, is your answer before you prove why you're right. After you prove it, then you've constructed an argument to go with it so that you can show that you are correct. So now when we look over here, we're going to look at these questions individually that we just worked on. What numbers would you construct an argument, or what numbers would you use to construct an argument supporting Jorge's conjecture? So we're going to use those two values, 13,172 and 13,533. How could you support Jorge's conjecture? So we can explain we can use greater than and less than to compare. Is Jorge's conjecture true? Justify your answer. Yes, because when comparing 13,172 and 13,533, 500 is greater than 100. So his answer is correct. Now, once you get into the independent practice, it's going to be very similar to this. They're breaking it for you into individual parts to help you kind of find your way through these questions. So you're going to be responsible for completing numbers 1 all the way to number 10 on the following page for your assignment. And if you have any questions, definitely let me know. Otherwise, I hope you guys have an amazing day. Take care. Bye-bye.